Sorry.
Are we missing the jokes?
No, but we know niggas who teeth just be falling out. So I don't
they
know
just falling out of their mouth.
Okay, let's talk
Like
about
they
that.
didn't even have like trauma. Like
No,
they're not.
no, they're in the middle of a conversation, and then they be like, "Yo,
It's a plastic. Okay,
that's what I'm saying, literally."
Okay. So then they need to start looking at implants.
It began like any regular Harlem night. Neon lights glowing, jokes echoing through the mic, and to legends turning talk into theater. Camron and Mase were back on air, their chemistry snapping like summer blocks on Lenox Avenue. But no one expected this episode to turn from comedy to carnage. What started as banter became an expose, and the man caught in the center of that hurricane. Dame Dash thought the cameras blinked. Camron leaned back, that sly Harlem grin flashing like a secret only the streets knew. "Killa, you ready?" Mase drummed his fingers, smirking. "Oh, I'm more than ready. Tonight's about to be legendary. Some folks losing more than money out here. They losing teeth." Laughter thundered through the studio. The shade was deep, but the message was deeper. It wasn't about dental hygiene. It was about reputation decay. Harlem humor hides its daggers behind smiles, and this roast came with surgical precision. Truth dressed as laughter. Mase couldn't contain himself. "Yo, we brought in real dentists, bro. Caught some folks' teeth out here just." Giving up mid-sentence, the room cracked up, cameras shaking from laughter. Cam kept it steady, voice calm but cutting.
Lawsuit. Did he try to shake you down for like a mil or two? Like that was for real?
Yeah, so
$1 million?
yeah, so he put up the lawsuit online, and then I sent it to my lawyer. I'm like, just in case, I don't care, because it was a digital paper trail, and I was like, whatever, I'm not tripping on the lawsuit. If I got to go to court and countersue, that's what I do. I don't want to do that. So Daniel was like, I ain't even want to tell you this. Dame said if you just give him $1 million, he'll forget about the whole thing. And I was like, no.
Nah, this is science. When your gums go bad, your mind follows. They said that somewhere. To Las Vegas dentists, invited for laughs, suddenly found themselves part of Harlem history, as they nervously explained oral infections and bone loss. Cam and Mase exchanged knowing glances that said what everyone already thought. This wasn't about teeth. It was about Dame Dash's crumbling image, his late-night rants, his endless lawsuits, and that $300 million fantasy he kept preaching about. Man talking about putting hits on people. Camron joked, but his weapon's paperwork. Mase fired back instantly. That's history rewritten. Beefing online with a briefcase, I'd never seen it before. Behind the laughter, the crowd felt it. This wasn't just jokes. This was revenge disguised as rhythm. The old brotherhood between Camron and Dame Dash, once the heartbeat of Rocafella's golden age, had cracked beyond repair. Cam's single quotes. Ron paused, voice tightening. "I ain't the sympathy type. I just stopped answering calls." That's...
Well, I smoke a lot, so it wasn't no big deal to me. But I'm a functional. I've been smoking since I was 16, longer than that, 15, 16, playing basketball, doing everything else. It don't affect me the same way I see it affects him, to where he needs it.
That's it. And suddenly on the villain, his Harlem tone rolled like music, half smooth, half stab. For those who knew the story, this was personal. Betrayal never ages well. Mase nodded, serious now. Same cloth, bro. But some folks start unraveling when the light leaves them. They forget who stitched it. The jab landed. Dame, who'd spent months reinventing himself, artist, talk show host, rock star, had become a meme instead of a mogul. Camron smirked. "You not the show? Bro. You found the show. That was your genius. But now you want to be the spotlight." The dentist laughed awkwardly as the crowd cheered. Every punchline hit with Harlem weight. Then came the viral moment. Mase leaned in, lowering his tone. "You know what's wild? Bad teeth mess with your brain. Bacteria creep up, start messing with your mind." Camron burst out laughing. That explains everything. The studio shook. The internet would later explode with the caption, "Mase and Cam diagnosed Dame live." But beneath the comedy, there was a chill. Camron started recalling old stories, the $1 million peace offering, the shady calls, the promises of unity right after threats. He told me, give him $1 million, and he let it go. "Bro, that ain't Harlem, that's ransom." Mase blinked. "He really said that?" Cam nodded. 2 days later, posting Harlem unity, "Bro, pick a lane, therapist or terrorist." The crowd erupted. But behind every roar was the sound of old loyalty dying slow. As the noise faded, Camron's tone softened. "You know what hurts, bro? We used to fix things behind closed doors. Now it's lawsuits and live streams. That ain't Harlem." Mase sighed. "That's what happens when pride goes viral. The algorithm don't heal. It humiliates. Camron looked into the camera. He used to talk on her. Now he trending for missing teeth. The laughter stopped for a moment. Even the dentist went quiet. Harlem had just witnessed its own legend crumble. And then, like true Harlem poets, Mase broke the tension with one last sting. Next episode, we bring a therapist or the tooth fairy, whichever one got the crown replacement ready. Camron cracked up. Tooth Fairy's bringing back his crown. It definitely fell off. The outro music hit. The lights dimmed. Harlem laughed, but the truth lingered. This wasn't just entertainment. It was an obituary for brotherhood. The falling teeth saga had begun. The next morning, Harlem burned with gossip. Clips of Camron and Mase's roast flooded every corner of the internet. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all looping the same moments. Mase's dentist line, Cam's laughter. The Harlem swagger that made mockery sound like music. Hashtags were everywhere. Hashtag falling teeth saga. Hashtag Dame Dash meltdown. Hashtag Harlem legends back. But behind the laughs came fury. Because somewhere across town, Dame Dash was pacing his living room, phone in hand. Live on Instagram, looking more wounded than wicked. I ain't beefing with them, he muttered, voice trembling. I'm suing. That's it. No more clown stuff. Just lawsuits, yet his followers weren't buying it. The comments were ruthless. Bro, they called dentists for you, Roc-A-Fella to rotten gums, that's wild. Cam gave him a diagnosis. For the first time, Dame Dash looked small. Harlem respects strength, not sorrow. And crying on live was never the Harlem code. Meanwhile, Cam'ron and Mase were back in the studio. Unbothered and hilarious. The lights dropped low, the energy was mischievous. Y'all saw what happened. Cam'ron grinned. They mad. But listen, if your teeth falling out mid-sentence, that's not shade, that's concern, Mase nodded. Half preacher, half comedian. Nah, killer, that's spiritual decay. Man talk culture, but burns every bridge he builds. Lawsuits can't buy loyalty, Cam added exactly. Bro once told me, never let no one pat your pockets, that ain't Harlem. But now he begging for clicks. You can't shout independence while chasing validation. The crowd held again. Harlem humor, sharp, rhythmic, merciless. Every line sounded like a sermon wrapped in smoke. Insiders whispered that Camron had been waiting for this moment since that infamous 50-cent joke, the one that bruised his ego years ago when Dame Dash mocked him publicly. Now the tables had turned. This was poetic retaliation. Harlem style, Mase leaned closer, eyes gleaming. The same man who made millionaires can't handle thems. That's ego decay, my boy. Forget gums, that's pride receding. The studio cracked up. Even the camera crew couldn't hold it. But then Cam'ron's laughter faded. You know the sad part? He said quietly. We looked up to him. He taught us ownership, self-worth, independence. But somewhere down the line, he started thinking he was a culture, not part of it. That's when he lost Harlem. Silence hit the room. For a split second, even comedy bowed to truth. Then the phones buzzed again. Dame Dash had gone live again, calling them clowns for the culture, accusing them of working for the same machine that destroyed black business. The irony hit like a punch. The man who once shouted boss up was now begging algorithms to care. Cam shook his head watching the clip. Bro suing half of Harlem and calling it revolution. You can't fight mirrors, my guy, Mase quipped, and the mirror got veneers now. The room exploded again. Harlem doesn't whisper when it cuts, it roars. By midnight, the podcast had 2 million views. Fans dissected every frame, some calling it disrespect to an OG, others calling it karma. One tweet said it best, he threw rocks for years. Harlem finally threw one back. Still, in the quiet after the laughter, the truth lingered. These were brothers who once built dynasties. Now they were tearing each other down for clicks and clout. Rocafella had become a memory, not an empire, just echoes of ego. Off-air. Camron reportedly sighed, didn't want it to end like this, but he made himself a meme. We just hit record, Mase nodded slowly. That's Harlem, bro. We joke so we don't cry. And that, right there, was a real falling teeth saga, not a comedy, but a requiem. Days later, Dame Dash went live one last time. Softer now. Broken, reminiscing. I made millionaires who forgot gratitude. But the comments were unforgiving. The internet don't honor OGs anymore. The joke became the brand. You said boss up. Now heal up. A viral remix sealed the moment. Cam'ron's laughter echoing over Dame's rant. Captioned, when your crown falls instead of shining. The symbolism was brutal but poetic. A Harlem crown fallen, not stolen. Pride can rot just like teeth when you grind it to long. As Camron closed the next episode, he said the words that would become Harlem gospel. Dame, Harlem don't hate you. We just tired. You wanted to be the story, now you are. But when the cloud fades and the mirror's all you got, remember, truth don't fall out. Even if your teeth do. The lights dimmed, music faded, and silence spoke louder than any beat. Because in Harlem, every laugh hides a wound and every fallen crown leaves a tooth behind.